Hello and welcome to episode 224 of the Arena Regulars podcast. I'm Zach.
And I'm Jeff.
And we're your source for drunken Magic the Gathering arena content.
That's right. Just a couple of regular guys drinking some irregular beers and talking about Magic the Gathering, in particular, online client, MTG Arena.
That is right. And this week is one of our favorite episodes. It is our happy hour. Basically, we're going to be talking about Lorwyn Eclipsed as it is no longer the main set since Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is basically coming out next week. The pre-release is happening next weekend. The early access event is next week. And boy, is that fast. We got some stuff to talk about. I'm excited for this, but we're going to kind of do our quote-unquote final thoughts, I guess, of this set. As we're just getting kicked out of the I don't know, cultural mind of MTG players. Yeah, the zeitgeist. Kind of a, I don't know if it's a sad hour because it feels like it's going. Well, we'll talk about it. I'm excited to hear your thoughts on everything Lorwyn Eclipsed. But first, each week we bring a beer, we drink it, we rate it on a scale from bronze to mythic, just like the tiers in Arena. So with that, Jeff, what is on tap?
All right. This week we have Super Sunset by Slake Brewing. It's 4.6% pale ale. Very nice. Claims to be fruity and soft. And I'm going to throw Zach under the bus a little bit here. He said it was the perfect beer for this episode because it has a smiley face on it.
Okay.
For those listening, I'm showing the can, and there's just simply it's a sun that doesn't even have a mouth, so it can't really be a smiley face.
In my defense, I hadn't looked at the can for a couple months, but I remembered there was a can with the sun on it. And to be fair, most of the time when we see cartoon suns, they have sunglasses and they're smiling, right? Or this almost also kind of looks like an emoji, which also smiles most of the time.
It does have that emoji vibe to it, yeah.
You know, my brain.
It's kind of given like a side-eye thing. It's almost explicitly not a smile.
Yeah, okay, Jeff. All right. Well, I thought it was going to really work out with the happy hour thing, and then I didn't check before I told Jeff it was perfect. And then now I look like a fool.
Just committed. I like that.
Well, you know, that's what I do. Commit even when I'm so wrong. Double down.
Yeah, just keeps insisting. You see a smiley face here. Like, yours doesn't have one, mine has one.
You guys don't see it? What are you talking about?
It's pretty subtle.
Yeah. It's just this little thing right here. Anyway, Super Sunset, 4.6%. Great. We're looking for these beers nowadays, especially with a young kid in my apartment. I need to be able to wake up at any moment.
Yeah, been there, man.
Yeah. Oh. Anyway, Jeff, you want to crack this puppy open?
Sure do.
All right, here we go. Ooh, yeah. All right. With that, we have some Magic news. Yes, foam on the beer. The Arena Championship 11 is happening right now as this episode is releasing. So hopefully you're watching it or it just happened, depending on when you're listening to this, but also...
Or playing in it.
I don't think anyone who's in the Arena Championship is actually listening to our episode, but it is a standard tournament. So if you're looking for standard deck lists, check out that tournament. It seems to be kind of fun, as we've had a couple standard tournaments in a row where they it has almost like this weird round robin of like all these, like what's the deck that's going to have the most metagame share for all these tournaments, and it keeps changing and shifting a little bit. It's pretty cool. It's been a really nice
forgotten
metagame.
That's what standard can be like.
Yeah, we're just used to be like, okay, is it going to be like, you know, is it or mono red? Like, what is it?
Yeah. Are they going to be more than 80% or less than 80%?
Yeah, that's basically what we're looking at. But yeah, if you aren't going to watch the tournament this weekend, there is a limited championship qualifier. All right, so this is a big deal we are excited for this. It is happening this weekend, right now. And what this is there's a tournament, the big limited championship in 2027, and this whole year there are qualifiers for it. And what they're doing is it's kind of like, it's not replacing the Arena Opens, because that's what the Arena Directs are. So this is like, it's kind of like a
sort
qualifier.
Of is, right? Like the Arena Open
qualified you for the...
Just gave you like $2,000, didn't it, if you won?
Yeah. Did you qualify for anything? I can't remember.
I don't think so.
You just got $2,000. Anyway, this is the same type of thing. But basically you get to join, there's 2 drafts. You join the first one as many times as you want, and if you can spike it, you get a token for draft 2, and then you can play in that one as many times as you want, as long as you have a draft token for it. So, you play the one draft, maybe you shoot 3 bullets, one of them gets you to the second draft, you play the second draft, maybe you scrub out, you can do the first draft again to get the token again, to try to get to the second draft again, and you just keep doing that.
Because the drafts run concurrently, basically.
Yes. Yeah.
But presumably nobody would be in the second one at the very beginning, but then once people get some tokens, then they're both just firing.
Then they're going to... Exactly. All the time. Which we want to point out, this is a really great model because it works with our schedules in particular.
Exactly. I was going to say, I'm excited to see how this works because I could play at night.
Yes. This is so... Because, like, I usually either work during the day on the weekends, or I'm working at night or something. And oftentimes these are like, the Saturday you can jump in whenever you want, that's fine. But on Sunday, you're required to sign in at like 8 in the morning. And then you have to be able to you just register, but then you come back for your draft later. And then you have to play your games within this time frame. Otherwise you get kicked out. And then you have to then do another draft at a very specific time. It was very annoying. And it was very much like paper tournament at home, which has like one of the worst parts about paper tournaments is just like the logistics of the timing stuff. It's impossible. You have to do it like that.
And having to wait for other people to finish their matches and stuff.
Yeah. Which, like, of course, when you're actually at an event, it makes sense. People are there, like, physically you have to do that. But when you're at your house, it's really annoying because you're like, I just shouldn't have to wait. I should just be able to keep playing or keep going. And with this model, you get to do that, which is awesome. Especially because the other tournaments, you weren't even in, like, cross-pod or anything, so it didn't really matter.
Yeah.
And this one, you aren't in cross-pod either. So you just get to play your stuff. And if you spike both of them, you get to go to the limited championship. Really awesome. Like, it's like the Pro Tour the Pro Tour has limited, but it's that level of event.
Yeah.
Really, really cool.
Yeah, I'm super pumped for this. Gonna give it a try at least once.
Yep.
The other thing is, with this new schedule, it's not possible to sleep through the sign-in window. You can't.
Yes.
Yeah.
If long listeners of the podcast will know that Jeff has slept through many day twos. Not just one. There's been a couple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish I could say it happened only one time, but that would be false.
Well, either he slept through it because he missed his alarm or something, or had gotten up and thought he had a bunch of time to do it and realized
that one was rough because I was up anyways. I just didn't.
Yeah. Did
sign
into the thing. But one other cool thing about the Limited Championship qualifier is that most of these big expensive events, like the Arena Directs, you have to use gems. But you can use gold for this one. So I think it costs like 25,000 gold or I think 5,000 gems. So I've been saving up gold specifically just for this event to be like, all right, here we go. We got this. Which is awesome. That's like
it's actually
2.5 drafts.
Better deal on gold, isn't it?
Yes.
Because it's 2.5 drafts in gold, but it's more than that in gems.
Yeah, it's a little bit more than that in gems.
Well, if it's really 5K, it's more than 3, right?
It's more than 3. Oh, I think it.
Maybe
actually,
it's 4K.
Yeah. Maybe I should know how much it costs.
4K would make sense because that would be slightly
closer
more
together.
Than 2.5.
Okay, I can't remember specifically, but I did remember that it was going to be cheaper. Somehow it was going to be cheaper in gold, so that's why I was saving up.
I did not know that, and I just blew gold recently. 10K of it on the draft.
Wow,
That was foolish.
that's embarrassing. Wow,
Foolish.
I can't believe that. I'm sorry I didn't give you this information earlier, Jeff. That could have helped you out.
I think I did pretty well in that draft, so I got some gems out of it.
All right, so actually that's great. Just use gems, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, pretty sweet tournament. I'm excited for this one and more of them. I don't know how many qualifiers there are this year. It might be like, is it only like 4?
For some reason, my head is saying 4, but
Yeah, it's like 1 per quarter kind of thing.
yeah.
But the thing is, they're squeezing this one in with Lorwyn Eclipsed right before Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So this episode actually
so
has a lot
happy
to do with
about
it.
that too.
Yeah. Because like doing the qualifier with a brand new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle set seems a little rough. Which, like I said before, is basically happening next week. All this stuff is already on Arena. Spoilers are all coming out. The spoilers have already happened from before. Actually, this is one cool thing. So obviously, like the whole rare sheet was spoiled during pre-release for Lorwyn Eclipsed because the cards were in Lorwyn packs, and that was a whole thing. And
Yeah.
it wasn't a great feeling. They are fixing it though, kind of. If you go to a pre-release for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Wizards put on their all their stuff. They're apologizing for the mix-up, and all those pre-release packs are coming with an in-universe promo pack of some kind, whether it's Lorwyn or Bloomborough or Edge of Eternities or like any of those, just to be like, hey, sorry that we screwed up. And so they, as long as supplies last and your store has them or whatever, those are supposed to be an extra little promo for playing in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle ones, for being like, we totally screwed up the last event. We are very sorry. Which, that's a nice little band-aid. It's like, obviously that really sucked and it was a bummer, but I like that they're acknowledging that and saying, we're going to do what we can. This is what we can do.
What can they really do? But
Yeah.
this is something.
So don't look a gift horse in the mouth or whatever. Beggars can't be choosers. What
It
are
could
those?
easily have just been like, whoops, and done nothing about it. So
Yeah, that's true. That's what most companies do.
Yeah.
So they'll just, yeah. Anyway, so that's kind of cool. But yeah, we'll talk more about that. I want to keep the turtles out of this episode, and we'll chat about that next week because we will be talking
we'll have
about
plenty of
turtles.
time to talk turtles.
We will. But Jeff, really big news. Huge news. So exciting. Something we've been waiting for, kind of, for a long time.
Draft with your friends.
It's close.
Oh.
What if you had a lobby with all of your friends? You can't draft with them, but you can direct challenge them.
Hey,
Easier than before.
getting closer. We have a virtual
Okay.
draft table. You just can't
We've got
actually
a draft table, basically. So these are called challenge lobbies. It's brand new. It's already rolled out. It's happening on Arena right now. And you can, I haven't tested it out yet, but apparently you can invite a bunch of your friends to a draft lobby, which is a list of people that are in your lobby. And you just kind of click on their name, and then you get to challenge them. The person who hosts the lobby gets to choose what the format is, which is kind of actually important. Because something that we like to do on the podcast, we host a Arena Peasant Cube once a month in our Discord channel. And one of the things that happens, and I have done this before, where you send a direct challenge and you accidentally picked something wrong. You said direct challenge, but it has to be like 40 cards, and you have to do like best of 3 and coin flips and all this stuff. And if you screw up one of those, it could mess up your the way that you're trying to submit your decks, or something goes wrong, or you get into it and I forgot to hit the coin flip thing, so I just automatically go first, stuff like that. And then you have to the worst part is if you have already drawn your hands, and then you have to quit out of that game and restart the game because you're like, ooh, and then your opponent was like, oh, I had such a good hand. Too bad you like screwed up setting up the whole thing. And you're like, I'm sorry. That's really a bummer and feels really bad. With the draft lobby, the host gets to pick all that stuff, and then every game everybody plays is already set to what that is. It's a small thing. It's not huge. I admit that, but it is a step in the direction of drafting with friends and having more social stuff on Arena, which is what we've been asking for a really long time. So,
Yeah. No, I mean, this will be nice for those cube drafts, and it's probably the only place I'll use it, but that's pretty cool. And any progress in this direction is thumbs up.
Yes, please more. So if you are interested in using this feature, please do, because they will obviously be able to keep track of that kind of stuff and know if people are using it. And we have been asking for something like this. Obviously, it's not perfect and exactly what we want, but we're closer. We're much closer to having those 8 people be able to join an event together. They're all in the same place. We're almost there. So yeah, anyway, Jeff, it's time for the happy hour. Let's get happy.
Oh boy.
Maybe we'll get happy. I actually have some things I want to talk to you about.
Cool.
But like Lorwyn Eclipsed finally come back to Lorwyn after how many years? I can't remember, 10 or something. Like pretty crazy. Neither of us had played during original Lorwyn. And most recently, for those of you who didn't listen to our last episode, Jeff has been doing quite well with Lorwyn Eclipsed Limited, getting 20th place in like a 1,764 person tournament or something. Crazy.
Yeah, I think that alone just means this is my most successful limited format ever.
So I guess then, Jeff, my main question for you is, do you like this format?
I do. And, part of that, we talked about this before, but like you get into these cycles, there are certain formats that you just sort of do well in for whatever reason or another. And then there are other formats that some just don't seem to work. Like almost everything you try, you just seem to get smoked.
Yeah.
And how much you like a format tends to correlate with those things. And it kind of goes both ways. It's kind of a chicken and the egg thing. Like, you will do better if you're more engaged and having more fun, but you're going to have more fun if you're doing better. So it's kind of hard to say which one is sort of the root. I enjoy this one, but, I say it's, my most successful format, at least in recent memory, but it's not my favorite format in recent memory kind of thing. Like,
okay.
I think it's good, but it's not just automatically because I did the best I've done at it. It's also my favorite. Like, they're correlated, but they're not the same.
Of course.
I think it's pretty good. I internally think of this as like a pretty solid, like 7 or 8 out of 10, 7 out of 10 kind of
Okay.
format.
All right. Well, I mean, that was something I was going to ask later if we were going to rate this. But like,
didn't scroll down.
it's fine. I maybe didn't even write it in the show notes, but okay. So, but Jeff, if we're rating this set before we get really into it, like I want a 7, 8 out of 10. Really helpful numbers and stuff, but obviously we have our own rating system. Jeff, I need to know, is this like a bronze set? Is this a mythic set? Where are we?
Okay, are we talking draft or sealed though?
Give me two.
Draft is the harder one. I think this is like it's like maybe a diamond sealed set. I really enjoy sealed in this format.
Okay.
Draft I don't think is as interesting or as fun. It might be like platinum for draft, or like
okay, all right.
Dare I go so far as gold? No, it's probably gold. Platinum. Like it's
okay.
It's fun. It's fine. But I also didn't do so many drafts, so it has to be exhausted by it, which normally I hit that rate
the point
before I even play a sealed match. So.
That's true. Because like I feel like I'm on the opposite spectrum of you, where it was like early on playing this format. It's like all about creature types. It's a very typal kindred set. And and I mainly played sealed to get ready for this tournament, and I was having a lot of success on arena, training, preparing. I was feeling really good about the choices I was making, all the things I had started to think about and had been crafting. It was all kind of working. And then I went, played in the tournament, did very badly. This last weekend, I played in the Arena Direct. I scrubbed out so hard. I actually don't even think I talked to you about this.
No.
My first deck in the Arena Direct was Busted Elves Pool, 2 of the Loyalists. I had Gloom Ripper. I had the Command. It was nuts. Nice. I was like, okay, this feels great. Immediately lost my first match to Merfolk, just overrunning me somehow. And I just like stumbled a little bit. Crushed my next opponent. My third opponent, I'm 1-1. Third opponent shows up. And guess who my third opponent is? Just like name pops up on the screen. Person you absolutely do not want to see. Like number one person you do not want to see on your, like right now.
Number one person you don't want to see right now. Oh, yeah. The winner of the previous Pro Tour.
Yes, Christopher Larson pops up right there, and I'm like, you gotta be kidding me.
That's exactly who you don't want to see.
Are you serious?
I knew it was Chris, and I was like,
immediately I get into my head. Immediately. I'm like, I'm gonna lose this game. There's no way I'm gonna beat a Pro Tour champion. He's an amazing player. I just can't win this. I have a really fast start. He's a little slow, drawing a bunch of cards. I get him down to 6 life, but then I proceed to make like 3 really egregious mistakes.
Oh, no.
And give him the game, because all I'm doing in my is trying to finish the game as fast as possible, and the back of my mind is just like, there's no way you can win this. He's going to beat you. And it was brutal, and it broke me enough that I tried again and just went like 0-2, horrible, worst
tried
build,
to play on tilt,
disgusting, well, it's because I was trying to make a YouTube video, so like I was already set up to record, so then I was like, well, let's just do another one. Luckily my daughter was still napping, so I was like, quick before she wakes up.
Oh yeah, those are always the toughest times during a nap, because you're forcing everything.
It was awful. Anyway, so my feelings towards the set are like pretty low right now. Like, the limited championship qualifier is like an exciting thing for this weekend, but I feel like I might just explode if I try to play in this thing. I'm going to. Like, I'm planning on doing it, but I'm planning on doing it
next week.
Yes, and I'm planning on recording it as well. So like, all the same things were coming up, but I don't know. Because I have previously said that I think that this is like a really, really good sealed format. Mm-hmm. Because I had really enjoyed, the color fixing was different because it was in like blue and red. The cards that you really cared about were actually the changelings, which was really interesting, and you hope that you have those to try to cobble together some sort of kindred thing, as opposed to draft where you're on rails and the drafting is not that exciting, because once you decide what lane you're in, you either go full steam into it, and sometimes you can get rewarded for that, or you get screwed, and there isn't a lot of flexibility, which kind of makes it not exciting. So I do have a couple questions for you. Like, first off, is this a Prince or a Pauper set? Like, do we care about the commons a ton, or is it really about the rares?
This one's interesting to me for that, because there are a handful of cards that are so much better than everything else that it feels a lot like a Prince format. Mm-hmm. But those cards aren't all rares. So it's like, it's like Morkont's Loyalist is one of the top 10 cards in the set that is just way better than everything else. But that's not a rare. And so they show up, some of these cards show up a little more often, like some of the Eclipsed cards, some of those the Lords in the strong Kindred colors are sort of in that busted rare category without actually being a rare. They're a little more achievable. It's not just like, did I happen to open, Figure of Fable or something.
Yeah.
Which is still, even better than these uncommons that I'm talking about. But there are only like a few rares that are better than some of these uncommons.
Okay, I think that's kind of
So
interesting.
I'm still gonna say it's a Prince format, but it feels like a slightly more accessible Prince format, especially in sealed, where it's like
Yeah.
you're more likely to open one of these top tier cards because they're not just restricted to the ultra high rarity cards.
Right. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But they are so much stronger than every single common that it's like they warp the entire game.
As opposed to a lot of the like popper sets can be like, oh, you opened the organ harvester or whatever, or the that freaking angel from Nuka Pena. That's just like, that's the card you're looking for. That's performs better than a lot of other stuff.
Right. Or Modern Horizons 3 or whatever.
Yes,
the
or Modern
best
Horizons
card in the
3.
whole set's a common.
Is a common, yeah. But this kind of leads me into another question. We were already talking about the draft format being, maybe a little on rails. Bloomburrow felt this way as well. Another kindred typal set. Are creature type matters draft formats good?
I think this one is fine, but I agree it suffers a little bit from like it rewards you for basically just kind of choosing a lane, sticking with it, and hoping it works out. And there's obviously, you do have to identify what your seat's supposed to play, but there's only like 5 things you could be in. And I think it really like condenses the whole draft experience down to just 1 or 2 of skills that are usually important in draft, rather than, the whole gamut of draft capabilities.
Yeah.
And I think that is just a kindred thing.
Well, I was trying to think about this because it's like, obviously it's just like a card that has a word printed on it, and then a card that cares about the word that's printed on this other card. That tends to be like what kindred is, right? I think the biggest thing is that like that tends to be non-mechanical. So like, obviously if you have an elf and then a card that says when an elf comes into play, those work together. The same thing could be said for, I have a card that gains life, and I have a card that says when you gain life, this happens. Just in that scenario of the gaining life one, at least the first card does something.
Yeah.
You still gain the life, even if you don't get paid off for it. But playing an elf, is just a creature, like it would be, it only becomes important when you have other things that care about that, which does lead you down like in Bloomburrow, I first picked a rabbit. Now every card that says rabbit, I'm gonna just take it, and that's what I'm supposed to do. So the one of the main reasons why I bring this up is because kindred sets are really exciting. People love these. Like new players specifically are really interested. The flavor's great. It's fun to get all your favorite characters together. But most notably in my life, when I started playing Magic, it was during Onslaught Block. And so that is a very, very focused creature type set. And I think that was one of the first blocks that was like, everything is creature types. Like they had done creature stuff in the past where like, one-ofs and pieces and stuff. But this was the first time where they're like, no, we're doubling down so hard that the second set in the block is only creatures. And like every single card in the actual set is a creature. So for a long time, I've always thought, it would be really cool to put together a cube of a block, of like Onslaught Block cube. But I have always worried, because every time I read about Onslaught Block draft, people have talked about how it wasn't very good because it was creature type stuff. And so I now have this thing in the back of my mind, which is like, are kindred formats for draft good? And I don't know. I guess that's kind of my answer.
I think you had a point too in there about like new players liking it, and we're talking about the flavor, but I think it also tells them what to do, right? Like if you're in a
That's true,
draft
that's
as a
true.
new player and it's like, I'm goblins, okay, it immediately reduces the pool down to like 2 or 3 picks every time. That's like, these are what you
It's
should be
true.
looking at.
And yeah, because oftentimes if you're like the drafting can be very overwhelming if you're new to the game.
Yeah.
Because number one, deck building, I don't feel like you have those like skills yet, and it's a whole other world of like decision trees and stuff, which makes it really engaging for us and franchise players. But I think you're totally right, because not only do you have, hey, I picked a red card first, it also happens to say something about goblins. So now as you go through your other picks, not only do you only have to look at like red cards and other ones that might be good for it, but if there's 2 red cards and one of them's a goblin and one of them's a giant, you're like, well, pick the goblin because that will be good for the goblin deck. That is true.
And the packs are going to tell you should be red black, right? You don't have to think
yes.
about my red blue, am I red white, am I red green after I
it
pick
just
the
like-
red card.
It just kind of pushes you into this space. That is true. That is helpful.
So the
So,
reason
yeah.
that we don't like it is kind of, it does have its merits for other people.
Totally. Yeah. So it just kind of means like, in my mind, I shouldn't always get maybe as excited for kindred sets, perhaps, or I could just loosen the reins and be like, you know what, this is maybe similar to like Foundations, where it's like I really liked Foundations. Foundations was great, but I also in my mind was prepared for a kind of fundamental type set. So going into a draft format that's like, this is kindred focused, I could be like, sweet, that's what I'm expecting. I know this is going to be, as far as draft wise, it will reward you for picking early and doing it, and I just kind of know those things now and don't feel bad, because Bloomborough was a terrible set for me as well. So am I just doing something wrong with kindred stuff in general? That's another question. I don't want to put such a damper on this happy hour. I just had some questions.
I think they hinted at a few things in this set that I think are cool and are maybe part of the solution to doing kindred sets in the future, which is they had, I think 10, but like they had 5 major creature types, and then 5 minor creature types.
Yeah.
And the 5, there were some interactions between the minors and the major ones. For example, like goblins likes to put -1/-1 counters on things, and giants love to have -1/-1 counters on them because they can remove them and put it on something else. They also basically made that the tree folk one as well. And I'm like, I don't know why the giants and tree folk have the same
Do the
mechanic.
same thing. Yeah.
But I think that idea of what if we just had 10 creature types and they pair together in interesting ways, and you're looking to build a 3-color deck. So there's no major one where it's likely, like it'd be tough to get an all fairies deck or whatever, just like it is this set. But you would pair your fairies with one of the other archetypes that plays well with fairies.
Yeah.
And so then you could kind of have this thing where you're not quite as on rails, because you still need to choose your like second creature type. But it still has that kindred feel to it. I think they could try something like that, and that would be, in my head, more interesting than there's just like 5 decks you want, and you try to fill it out a little bit with these secondary
Yeah.
creature types, and they kind of come at a cost of like, oh, it's not an elf, but it's pretty good. Maybe I'll put it in here.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you just did remind me of a thing, is that like this set there were 5 main archetypes, and they weren't ally or enemy colors.
True.
It was like, I think 3 allies and 2 enemies, which was so not normal. No, 3 enemies and 2 allies. It was Celestia and Azorius, and then Golgari. No, Rakdos is ally. Yeah, 3 ally, 2 enemy. Anyway, but breaking up the colors like that, I did think was really interesting. But I wanted to piggyback on what you were saying, which was like, the fact that this set had, just kind of in comparison with Bloomborough, this set had like the 5 main ones and then the minor ones, which does open the opportunity to get into these different types of decks where you are trying different things that isn't exactly what you're talking about, as opposed to my criticisms with Bloomborough, which is like there's 10, and it's kind of like a couple of them just don't work at all, and they only work with each other, right? So it's like, oh, maybe Raccoons was bad, and you don't really have a lot of Raccoons in your deck. And the way that they try to, like, you know, fix that was there's some, like, Frog Raccoon cards, which are both, which are, like, the changelings of that.
And some cards were like frogs and raccoons and squirrels get +1/+1.
Yeah, which I really didn't like the batching. I just thought that was so sloppy and just hard to read and annoying. And there's like a lot of cards that do it. Like it's in all the colors.
I think you need to try to make their core mechanics synergistic with each other without explicitly being like, for every goblin and fairy you have, you get, you know,
exactly.
It's like, just make you naturally want to play those two things together and give that combination a play style.
Exactly. Which I think this format did way better. So as far as between the two, I think I did like Lorwyn a lot better.
They took some steps in the right direction, kind of showed me maybe what I think a really cool and deep draft format could look like for Kindred. But in terms of this actual format, I think like you can play the black-white like -1/-1 counters deck. That's a thing that comes together every once in a while. You should understand that deck and have it on your radar in case you're in the seat for it.
Yeah.
Or there's kind of like an Esper Flash kind of thing going on where some of the merfolk have Flash and then the fairies have Flash and really want you to be playing at instant speed, and you can do that kind of thing. But for the most part, it was like all the non-supported decks are worse than the supported ones.
Yes, and that's what we had seen, which is like, hey, pick one of the creature types first, and then if that doesn't work, you get bumped into the bottom tier. But I will say, like, you know, we're talking about all these interesting, like, hidden archetypes that are in here, and those are all parts of draft formats that you get to experience when the draft format goes on for a long time. And like we said at the beginning of this episode, this one's done, basically. Like, we have this event this weekend, and then we're basically... You know, it's kind of dead next week by the time the early access comes out, and then by Tuesday of the following week, Turtles is out, and that's just what's happening.
Yep.
And this is like some of the fastest we've been pushed through sets. So, like, we lose a lot of... we lose a lot of exploration in the set. Like, it just evaporates, kind of. And...
Yeah. And I don't think I mentioned this last week, but I was thinking through the decks I lost to. I lost to Abzan, which was just a nuts elf deck. I forget what it was splashing white for. Maybe a protective response. I think definitely a protective response, but I forget what else.
Which they possibly could have played off of some of the...
well, they had a Figure of Fable. So they got me pretty good at one point because I didn't even know that they were splashing white, and they tapped the Figure of Fable to
cast the protective response
me, and I was like, yeah, all right. But then I also walked into protective response later, and that's when I was like, oh, that was
right.
I've been playing against this. I've been playing around this card all fucking day, and then I just walk right into it. But so I lost that, and then the other two decks I lost to were both basically Jund good stuff decks, like minor kind of goblins sub theme to it. They're just kind of, I guess, picking up the whatever goblins happen to be in their pool or that other people aren't taking at the table. But mostly it was just like Jund good stuff, minor vivid theme, minor goblins theme, but just play good cards. And that seemed like a real deck. Both were like, that seems like something you should maybe keep an eye out if you have a bit of a shaky seat with no clear like tribal or kindred direction, because I don't know for sure, because I didn't really get to talk to Valerie too much about their draft, but it seems to me like the way that could materialize is you pick up some good like green cards or maybe some good black cards, but you're not in Kithkin or Elves, and then you get to pick up, you're going to get goblin cards kind of late. And so you You
Just
kind of
let
like
those
backdoor
go.
your way in. You keep some flyers open with the strong either Kithkin or elves or whatever, and then you're like, this is I'm not in the seat for that deck, and so you start scooping up some of these like
That's
grubs
true.
that are
Just
flying around the table.
because, and just end up being in Jund. Cool. That is interesting. Good tip for this weekend. I will
All three decks
be-
I lost to were green black, but but yeah, Abs
That
and
is
Jund,
the-
Jund.
best colors. So what are you gonna do? But yeah, I think overall, I think I'm closer to, we're talking about rating the set. I would probably still diamond for sealed. I thought that was really good. I don't want to have my most recent experiences really push it out of me. I did say that I thought it was really great, and I had a ton of fun with it, and it was a blast for when I was having a blast. And so I would still recommend telling people, hey, you should play this set. With the caveat that draft could be closer to maybe gold for me, where it's like, yeah,
I
it
think
doesn't
if I
feel
play
solid.
it, like maybe talk to me after this weekend, I'll be like, draft
Yeah.
is silver. But,
Yeah. Draft fucking sucks. I think that like Bloomborough draft for me was like in silver range, because in the sense that there were, number one, design things I didn't like about it, but number two, I like had to take a break from playing Magic after that, because I was like, I'm so tired of this stupid set, because it was kicking my ass. Not
I'm
because,
tired of it in constructed too, so I think that set just has a bit of an exhaustive personality.
Well, it's one of those things where they love to juice the set that comes after rotation. Like that's just their favorite. I'm looking at you, Throne of Eldraine,
Let's just define the format for the next 3 years.
basically. Anyway,
There was one last point I wanted to make before, and I promise I'm not just stalling on the Pack Zero pick ones here, but I don't know if it's just because this is what I was playing to prepare for the event, and this is what I played in the event. But I also did play. I jumped into the Arena Direct event. I had a really interesting pool. I meant to post it. I even saved it somewhere, and then I just didn't post it in the Discord.
wow, that's so rude of you. Come on.
I had the full. I even other people were posting it, and I went to that website. I was like, "How do I do this? Oh, cool!" And I recorded the pool to see. What other people
You're
would
gonna
build.
do the sealed deck.
I was gonna share my sealed
thing.
pool and ask people what they would build.
How to
And
build.
then I just forgot. I played late at night and just went to bed after and then forgot. But I had a pretty interesting pool. But anyways, I ended up going 3-2. And both losses were just your top 14 cards included 10 lands, but the top 7 included 3. So it's just okay, well, fuck me, I guess.
yeah.
And one of the things that I might be changing my mind back on is I was really enjoying playing Best of 3 Limited again. I was that's how I was playing on Arena before the event, because I knew that's what the event would be. As much as possible, I was joining traditional events. And then, obviously, I played 14 rounds of Best of 3.
Yeah.
I think Best of 3 is just better. I know we were talking about Best of 1 is much better for Limited than it is for Constructed. I think that's still true. But in Best of 3, you don't just lose the whole round because you got flooded.
Yeah.
But you also, sometimes you see the bombs or the types of cards your opponent is playing, and even if you don't sideboard, we talk about how sideboarding in Limited can be tricky because sometimes you just don't have the cards to sideboard, especially in Sealed. But you still can alter the way you play, knowing what cards your opponent has in their deck and what their game plan is, and you alter what hands you keep. It's just a completely different. Games 2 and 3 are just very different than game 1.
Yeah, because
even if you're not sideboarding.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. I think I actually wanted to bring that up as well, that maybe one of the reasons why I was doing so well early in the format was because I was playing traditional sealed on Arena that is not ranked, and so then maybe it's a little bit softer. But why can't it be ranked? Why can't we just add the ranks to any of them? I know that other, like, there's a lot of streamers, or like there's a couple of streamers that are very focused on traditional draft, and they don't really play a lot of ranked. But they're like, why can't this just be a ranked queue? I don't understand. Like, I that's another weird WotC thing, which is like, why is this the way that it is? Just change it. Just add. Why is pick 2 draft ranked and this isn't? That's what I didn't want to know. No shade for pick 2 draft. Honestly, I don't hate pick 2. I think it's totally fine. I think it works better in paper and doesn't necessarily need to be on arena, but it also doesn't have to be ranked. Come on. Yeah. Like, the main reason that pick 2 is around is to be helpful for new players, and so that you can like have an easier, more fun draft experience with 4 people in paper at an LGS. Why are we making it ranked on arena? That's just wild. Anyway, give me traditional sealed ranked and keep it open for the duration of the set.
Yeah, that's the part that's great.
Stop closing sealed when there are events to prepare for that are sealed.
Yeah.
Wild. Like, just wild.
Yeah. I'm converting back. I'm starting to... I don't know if this set maybe just was more interesting for best of 3, because this set also in particular, sometimes you just get run over by a kindred curve out.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, I guess I lose. Yeah. So I don't know. This set maybe like is less favorable for best of 1 and more in favor of best of 3 than most. But.
My one of the things I did in the main event was that, like, I was playing like this teamer Sunderflock deck, but I kept going up against these, like, my second opponent was like mostly elementals, and so Sunderflock was fairly useless as far as like trying to bounce their board.
It's a 5/5 flyer, but it's expensive. You want to be bouncing stuff.
It screwed up all my mana too, so it was like,
right.
I decided to sideboard into a Gruul Beats deck, which ended up, that was the only win I had all day. And I had tried to do it a couple other times just to see if it would work. But my last opponent was like a Kithkin-ish deck, splashing for Doran, the tree guy. Mm-hmm. And one of the things I saw in game 1 was that he had JED into discard, go get Doran. Now JED attacks as a 4/4.
That's nice.
Because the tree cares about toughness stuff. So that was kind of a nice little thing. But it was kind of slow, and it was not necessarily an aggressive Kithkin deck. So in game 2, I kept a hand that was pretty slow, but had power later in the game. And I immediately get just obliterated by Kithkin. Because he had just the blazing fast Kithkin start that I didn't think he was capable of, because he was in the whatever 1 and 2 bracket with a 3-color deck that I did. Right. I just didn't think that was going to happen. And so then I just kept the wrong hand, because I was like, I just didn't think your deck was going to do that, and it did. And I was like, all right, that was on me. Also, I think at that point I was like, my tournament's over anyway, so like, who cares? Yeah. But that forced a game 3, which I narrowly lost. But anyway, but yeah, best of 3. It's nice. It's good. It's harder on your phone, but that's why best of 1 was invented.
Yeah, I've just been enjoying. I've played almost all best of 3, and I think that really, when I played best of 1 in this event over the weekend, just kind of sitting there being like, well, I flooded out twice. Like, if you flood out twice in best of 3, it has to be in the same match to really get you. But
yeah, I do think that, like, the Arena Direct this weekend kind of felt, for me, because I didn't really get to play that many games, felt very much like I'm playing best of 3, but it's against different decks each time.
You played 2 best of 3 matches.
Yeah. And one of them I almost came back, and one of them I just got smoked. That's kind of what it felt like. It was just a strange thing. But anyway, Jeff, I do obviously want to get back. Like we got to keep going. We got lots of stuff to talk about the rest of this episode. Though this was great. I'll have closing thoughts on Lorwyn later, maybe. But we have some stuff we owe our listeners.
Oh boy. Do we have to?
We got to talk about our Pack Zero Pick Ones, and we have to talk about our first sips. So Pack Zero Pick One, Jeff will explain in a second, but we always pick these in our pregame episodes, and then our Worth of Slots we pick in our first sips episodes. So Jeff, what's Pack Zero Pick One? What is this?
All right, Pack Zero Pick One is something you do before you play with the format, Zach. Before you actually play the format.
I always pick before, Jeff. One time, because you said we had to record the next week after pre-release, so I had to play with them. I didn't pick the cards before I went to the pre-release, but okay, I should have done that.
But you try to basically, it's essentially saying how you think the format is going to go. Like, what are your initial impressions of the good cards? And so you choose the best common from each color: white, blue, black, red, green. Then you choose 2 more commons that you haven't already chosen with no restrictions on those selections. And then you choose the best performing gold signpost uncommon. And then as a tiebreaker, you also choose what you think the best rare is going to be. But you generally don't count the rare unless it's a tiebreaker. It's unless there's actually a tie, which there never is, because it's just you would have to pick the same set
most
of
of the
cards.
time it's just in case you pick the same set of cards. So Jeff and I play against each other, which is a lot of fun. It's great. Jeff also has decided that we're playing against a fucking robot, and it's so freaking stupid, and I hate it, and it's dumb.
I don't know. It's pretty smart. It keeps getting smarter too. That's the problem.
No, it's
and
horrible.
I always put us up against the top. Like, whatever Google's best model is what we compete against. And we might have to rethink that one. But
yeah, well, obviously, if you can hear from our voices, we got our asses kicked by the fucking AI Gemini thing. Yep. By, like, it wasn't very close.
It wasn't particularly close, especially for me. I did especially poorly. But maybe I'll tell I don't know if I should tell the story now or at the end after I say what my picks were. But
we'll see. I want to run through this fairly quickly because the fact that we lost to the stupid robot is annoying, especially because in Avatar, Gemini picked the stupidest, horrible, worst cards.
Oh, it made awful picks. I did say when I saw these ones, I'm like, Zach, this might be the week we lose. It's made all reasonable picks.
Yeah. The main thing is that, like, we always pick... the main thing is you're trying to spike it, right? You want to get the best common of each one. And Gemini was able to, with, a caveat in one of these is 2 colors, so it's kind of confusing whether you would consider, like, Marrow Sky Swimmer, is that the best white common, the best blue common, or is it just, like, its own thing and whatever? But it picked Marrow Sky Swimmer as the best white common, which I'm going to give it. It's a head and shoulders above the actual white and blue commons. Right. It also picked Temporal Cleansing, which is the best blue one, and it picked Assert Perfection, which was the best green one. And if you were able to hit 3, that's a lot. Like, in getting 3 of the bests of whatever, like, that's very good.
Yeah. Did it.
Yeah. So it feels pretty crummy. Gemini also picked Bog Slither's Embrace, Cinder Strike as removal spells, and Spiral into Solitude, another removal spell, and Blight Rot, another removal spell. So everything...
it just picked all the removal spells except Sky Swimmer. Mm-hmm. Sky Swimmer's the one that scares me because it's like, that was a good pick.
That was a really good pick. A really good pick that I thought about but decided against it just because I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
And then for Gold Signpost Uncommon, they picked Thought Weft Lieutenant, which I also picked. Great card. But didn't
That's
happen
one of the
to
ones
be...
I'm most looking for. But obviously the best one was Morkant. Is that right? Or was it the Eclipsed Elf? Does that count?
Eclipsed Elf was... Yeah, Eclipsed Elf was...
I forget whether you could pick those as gold signpost or not.
I think you could. It was either Eclipsed Elf or a Deep Channel Duelist, the Merfolk Lord.
Oh, yeah, that card's fucking sick.
Yeah. Or I guess Risen Reef, which I didn't realize was in this set. It's a...
That's not a gold
special
signpost, though.
It's
I
considered
object to that one.
Because it was...
If someone fucking
yes.
beats me with Risen Reef, I'm going to be so mad.
It could happen.
Bullshit.
But anyway, Thoughtweft Lieutenant was below like all of the Eclipsed cards, including Eclipsed Bogart, which
Yeah, the Eclipsed cards are good.
I anticipated it'd be like totally fine, but they're not. In Pack Zero Pick 1, it felt like you couldn't pick the Eclipse cards because they didn't seem like you had to pick the right one.
Yeah.
This proves that you did not have to pick the right one. You picked one of the Lords or any of the Eclipse cards that draw a land or a creature, and you're golden. Like, that was what we should have done, realistically, and instead I picked a good card. Thoughtweft Lieutenant is good. It's like a B- level card. But all the other ones that just draw you cards, important.
Yeah. The land is really what does it on those ones, where it's like, if you are struggling on your mana at all, you could just fix that.
Yes. Or if you have too many lands, it gets you to a creature, obviously. So, I feel like that's fairly obvious, but wasn't...
In retrospect, it's like, why wouldn't I have picked one of these? Like, even if I thought Goblins was the best, or good, which I clearly did, like, why didn't I just pick the Eclipsed Goblin? But, hindsight's 20/20.
Well, it's super hard because like they all seemed really like boring picks because you're like, hey, there's like 5 identical creatures, kind of like the text box is basically the same. They have different stat lines and mana costs, but besides that, it's like okay, and so I just didn't pick any of them because I was like, well, this isn't fun to talk about. I'll pick something more interesting. But anyway,
so other than Thoughtweft Lieutenant, what did you pick?
I picked Liminal Hold for white, which, if you don't count Marrow Sky Swimmer, was the best white common, so that was a great job for me. I picked Blossom Bind, which didn't hit the best blue common, and it was not even like second, so that was a little bit of a bummer. But I did end up getting Bog Slither's Embrace and Cinder Strike, just like our AI-generated thing. Lisa Lana Informant was second, I believe. It was right below Assert Perfection. Yeah. And I do want to say, Assert Perfection, we thought was going to be trash. Like, it's a
I thought it was going to be
medium. Speed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
not trash, but like, sorcery speed bite spells are not nearly as good because the strength of the bite or the removal spell often is instant speed, and in the green decks where you want to attack, when they try to double block with against your big creature, you're able to bite the smallest one or whatever, or whatever works to get rid of the double block, and you keep your big creature, tends to be the strength of these bite spells. And so I thought this one was just like, sorcery speed's not good enough, and apparently it is. So
there's just not that much good instant speed interaction that blows this out, which I didn't fully appreciate when I first read it. Like, a lot of the good removal is sorcery speed or like reactive, like you have to attack for me to be able to cast this. So while there are ways to get blown out when you go for Assert Perfection, it's way safer than it would normally be in most formats.
You know what's funny? If Assert Perfection was an instant, how many times would it be a garbage card because Protective Response blows you out?
Right, exactly. Right? But because you're forced to play it at sorcerer speed,
it's better. It's actually
just
better.
Like blow that up, but
yeah. Oh god. Anyway, Lisa Lana Informant, second best green common, and then third best green common, Miss Meadow Council. So feeling
Not
pretty
bad.
good
Not
about
bad.
the green picks. I definitely thought that was going to be 1 and 2 instead of 2 and 3, but that's fine. And then my worst pick, well, one of my worst picks, Feisty Spikeling. The 2
Terrible
power.
card.
Yeah, I know. It was supposed to be, in my mind, it was like, it's a Kithkin. I didn't really think about the fact that it's a mono white, basically, because you're not really playing Boros. And the stat line is just so bad. A 2/1 first strike is brutal when there's like a million 2-mana 1/3s. Like,
Yeah.
they're everywhere. Like,
And there's just so many ways to like pick this off.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's the elemental that just pings something, or like
there's
blight,
just
or whatever.
blight stuff or balderdash.
So
or like,
bad with blight.
Yeah, it doesn't work well with that, and the fact that blight is a main mechanic, and there's so many cards that have really high toughness because of that, means that a 2/1 is so bad. It just ended up not working out what I had hoped, and that's one of the hardest things I will say about this game, is that knowing the sizing of creatures is really difficult. Because that's something that you start to feel when you play the set, but when you look at it, it's really hard to be like, oh, there's a lot of 1/3s or 2/3s, because like there's just so many cards to look at. It's very difficult to just, you'd have to go through and be like, okay, how many 3 toughness creatures are on 2? How many 3 toughness
Yeah,
creatures are on
exactly.
3? Like, that's just so brutal.
You would need to like literally have a spreadsheet with powers and toughnesses and calculate averages and statistical.
And that's basically only helpful for like a week, and then after that, you
Exactly,
just
it's
fail
just
it.
not worth doing unless that data were. I would do it if that was just like sitting there. If Wizards was like, "Hey, do you want to download the power and toughness data for this set?" I'd be like, "Sure." It'll take me 2 seconds to calculate the average.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
eventually you're just going to have Gemini read them for you and then do it for you. So
It's getting better. It might be able to do that soon.
maybe.
I put Feisty Spikeling in my pre-release deck, and I cursed your name after that because I was like, "This card is awful. I can't believe
Yeah.
that I let Zach talk me into playing this."
That is the funny thing about this, because I do the same thing where the amount of sun dappled celebrants I was putting in decks and picking highly in drafts is wild.
That was on me. That was on me.
Yeah. Where I'm like, wow, sun dappled celebrant is still in this?
Yeah,
Oh my
well,
god, I
it must
gotta
be open.
Yeah, and it was what Jeff's pick was for best white common, and it's like it's bad. Like, it's not even the worst, but it's like it's down
Yeah,
there.
so let me run through my awful picks, and then I have a couple of stories, and then I want to try. Let me try to defend some Dappled Celebrant at some point.
Okay, okay.
So I picked Sun Dappled Celebrant for white, which was not the best white common, as anyone who's played the set knows. I did pick Temporal Cleansing. That was the high point of my pack 0 pick 1. I did pick the best blue common. Then I did, the same thing we all did apparently, Bog Slither's Embrace and Cinder Strike. For green, I had the extremely regrettable Great Forest Druid pick, which I still stand behind in principle, but I underestimated a few things about just like how
Theoretically-
bad it is to not be a relevant creature type.
Yes.
Then I picked Spiral into Solitude, which I stand behind. I still like that card. I'm almost surprised to see it only 54.4, because I kind of have it a little better than that. And then I picked Elder Auntie. Oh boy, that was a bad
so
one.
brutal.
That was
That's
a bad
bad one.
And then Boggart Cursecrafter. So clearly I thought Goblins was going to not suck. I probably just wanted that to be true rather than really analyze
Yeah.
that. Because you don't really... It's kind of like, I don't know, I want to take a gamble on something. I happen to gamble on the worst
Yes.
archetype.
Well, to be fair, you could have gambled on like giants or something. So
Yeah.
You're like, I really think
so
these
I
giants are
gambled
gonna
on
be
the
great.
worst reasonable archetype to pick. I
Um,
will say I did pretty well with the rare. I picked Kin Binding, which
you
is
did pick
a bonkers
Kin
rare.
Binding, which is one of the best rares. Well, if we're talking about rares, I have to talk about mine, because I did. So you know how you said that you were cursing my name for the Feisty Spikeling? Well, in my sealed event, when we played, I was cursing my own name for picking Sapling Nursery.
I saw Sapling Nursery when I came to watch one of your games. I saw it in your hand, and you just weren't casting it because you just wanted to attack instead. And I remember thinking, like, didn't he pick this as the best rare in the whole set? He's not even going to cast it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. The reason I'm going to curse this card is because it ruined my entire event. If this card was not in my pool, I also had 2 of the great Forest Druids, which made me felt like I could play heavy green, splash, whatever I want. If Sapling Nursery wasn't in my sealed pool, I would not have tried to do so much green because it says affinity for forests. Because I thought, oh, if games go long, just being able to have 3-4 reach creatures is good. It was not good enough. It was really bad. And the time I got to ramp it out, it got blown up immediately with a keep out, which I'm not even really mad about that. I was playing as white, and I was playing an enchantment, and they have like 2...
They have plenty of ways to...
removal, like at least 2 removal spells to get rid of this common. So anyway, I wish that I didn't say this. If I did not pick this, I think that I would have built my sealed deck differently. And that's on me. That's on me, buddy. I hate myself for picking this card.
For sort of arbitrarily choosing me. Like, I guess I'll choose that card.
But that's what happens when you pick stuff. Hey, it's hard, okay, out there. If you put your name down and you say, hey, I think this is the best thing, and you see it in a pack, you're going to try to prove that you were right, and it's going to backfire very badly. Most of the time.
So that leads pretty well into what I wanted to say, because this happened to me on day 2 of that event. In my first draft, I was in green-black elves. And when I can't remember if this was when I was drafting, but when I was drafting, goblins were absolutely flying around the table. I can't remember if it was at 4 or 3, but I actually think it was 4 grubs that went past me at that table. Like, everyone was kind of talking, did you see the 3 grubs? And I'm like, dude, there were 4 in like our corner. So goblins were just everywhere. And elder aunties were absolutely everywhere. Nobody wanted that card at all. It was like the dead last pick a bunch of times. And like, just made me be like, oh, I can't believe I picked that fucking card. It's like, now that I'm drafting with players who actually know what they're talking about, and just nobody is interested in elder auntie. I'm like, yep, that's on my pack 0 pick 1. And then while I'm building my deck, I'm trying to figure out like how to... I bled my last slot, basically, and I'm like, I want it to be a cheap card, but am I really going to play Great Forest Druid? Like, that doesn't seem right. Should I just play this, like, what's the card that, like, gives -2/-2 to something, or, like, pseudo Thought Seizes?
Oh,
I'm like, should I play that
Caesar
instead? And I'm like, but at least this is a creature. I don't, and that made me think again, like, oh, glad this card is on my pack 0 pick 1, and I'm debating if I should even put it in my, do I have to play this? Like, awesome. And then in the second draft, I was firmly white, and my pack had a sun-dappled Celebrant in it, and I didn't even consider it. Like, it wasn't even on my radar as something I might potentially pick, and that happened multiple times in that same draft. So it just came out of the drafts being like, boy, did I fuck up the pack 0 pick ones. Like, I don't want any of the cards I picked after doing these 2 drafts.
I do have to say, to be fair, I think you won this exchange. Yes, you lost the pack 0 pick 1, but you did really well in the tournament, which is all we wanted. So
definitely take that. But part of my point was going off what you said of like, I abandoned my early thoughts on this format because I'm just like, all the cards I picked are bad, and I should not take them.
Which
yours is a little different because it's a rare, right? It's like you don't get to play with them often. I played with these cards enough to be like, these are bad.
Which is one of those things where it's like, I think I played against Sapling Nursery once, but besides that, I had not really seen it on the battlefield very much. And I had seen its like stats and stuff, but I didn't think it was going to be as bad.
It's one of those cards that playing against it, it might look good because they cast it and But playing with it, you're like, man, I have to also have a land, or this doesn't do anything, and it's like,
Yeah.
it can rot in your hand a little bit, and that's part of the downside of the card. And so you don't really see that on the other end of the table. You just see them make a bunch of 3/4s and be like, well, that card's sick.
Yeah. So, anyway, I did want to mention we didn't really talk about black or red. The correct answers were. But Dawnhand Eulogist for black, the 4-mana 3/3 Menace Elf, as well as Scarblade Scout. Those were both better commons in black than Bog Slither's Embrace, which we all three picked, looking at you, Gemini. As well as Kolrath Zealot, the basic land cycling red 6/5, and Flamekin Guildweaver, the 4-mana 4/3 Trampler that makes a
I'm not surprised on the Zealot. I love that card now. Like, I didn't
Zealot's
think much of it when I was doing this, but now I'm just
I thought
like,
it was. Well, once again, okay, every once in a while, because the basic land cycling is better than the mountain cycling, which oftentimes we get with like these cycles, right? You get one of every color, and they only get your color, your land, or whatever. So it's like swamp cycling or mountain cycling or whatever.
Yeah.
But this one, because it fixes you, is awesome. Number one, because it can get your blue cards if you want or whatever. But also, it's huge, draws you a card late in the game. The game's
honestly, the 6/5 impulse is like, I almost don't want to have to cycle this early. I will.
yeah. But the fact that you have an option,
I don't want to.
yeah, and you're right. It's more so the creature side, which is great because oftentimes with these you're like, well, it's something to do on 2, and then if I get it later, I guess I'll play the bigger side.
What I like best about this card, that warms my heart, is against the cavalry. It's like, go ahead, attack. I will fucking block, and you spend that 5 mana to trade. Like, let's do it. The only downside is that you get got by Assert Perfection, but it's like, whatever, that's going to get something. But that stupid cavalry attacking with threat of activation and never activating, enough of that. I'm going to block, and we're going to trade, and you're going to spend your turn to do it.
That's true. That is a really good call out. I didn't even think about specifically with the Safe Right Cavalry. That's cool. Okay.
So the 6 power is like pretty relevant because a big part of this format is the stupid cavalry attacking with no consequences. And this provides those consequences because I drew a card off it. I'm happy to trade it off for one of your best creatures.
We were talking about, like, is this a good format or not? And I don't know, a 4-mana creature that has a 5-mana activated ability that's relevant.
It's so good.
I don't know. We have not. 4 mana tends to be this weird spot in Limited where it's like you don't want to play the common 4-mana creatures because they're trash, or all your rares are at that. You know, you have great rares at 4 and 5 and 6, and so you can't get bloated with a bunch of commons that are like kind of clunky. But we've seen there's a couple 4-mana cards that are like, you know, sometimes a little clunky in other sets. In this set, great, because they have trample or they're hard to block or whatever. So really,
that was going to be my defense of Sun-Dappled Celebrant, by the way, which is the reason I picked it is because I was identifying that this was going to be, or what I was guessing was this is going to be like a power and toughness combat format where big creatures are just pretty good. Like having a lot of power and toughness is just going to be good in this format. And I think that part is true. So my logic was like, this is going to be like a 4-mana, whatever. I don't even remember.
5/6.
5/6.
Vigilance.
Yeah, I wanted to say 5/8, but I'm like, it's not a 5/8. 5/6, and I'm like, that dominates a board, and that's true. But the problem is that there's also a very tempo format, and you have to tap both your creatures to play that 4-mana 5/6. And so if they just like Blossom Bind it or just get it out of the way somehow, you have nothing, and you just get eaten alive for like 8 to 10 damage for playing that. And so you can't actually really play it as a 4-mana 5/6, and then it's just bad. Like, there are lots of
Yeah.
games where you could curve out and play this on 3 and have a big presence. But it's just so... The most likely response to that is, like, get that thing out of the way and attack you with 3 creatures. You know?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And it doesn't, like, the other thing is that it doesn't have trample. It doesn't have
And there are
reach.
other ways
It
to
can't.
get power and toughness that don't open you up to that risk.
Exactly. Yeah. So, ended up being not phenomenal. Gemini ended at, well, the numbers were like 450.1. I was 445.5. So I was like, about 5.4 points off. So that's, close. And then you were 437.6, which is pretty bad.
Stinker.
Couple stinkers.
If you add the rares, though, Zach only beat me by 0.1.
That's true, yeah, because kin binding was so much better than sapling nursery. Yeah. But we still lost, even with our rares, to Gemini, who picked Champions of the Perfect.
Yeah, no, there was no beating them.
So stupid.
Unless they picked Ashling's Command or whatever, somehow. I still don't totally understand why that's the best rare in the set, and I don't
either.
agree that it is, but
Yeah.
the stats seem to say that.
That's that say. Anyway, Jeff, I don't even know if this counts as like me beating you because we lost to the robot. So like, is
See,
it
that's
really
why I
us?
introduced it, right? Like, if you beat me, but you didn't beat Gemini, then did you beat
Oh
me?
yeah, so all right, so we're just saying it. Well, okay, so what I was trying to present with this little thing was that we can now be against Gemini together, and we try to work and beat Gemini. But
Yeah.
you were bringing it up like, oh, this is a way for you to lose, but still kind of win.
But it goes both ways, you know? If I beat you, but I don't beat Gemini, then did I beat you?
That's okay. That's true. But now
So
it just kind of
it's the
feels like
same idea. We're really against Gemini here.
Yeah.
But if I beat Gemini and you don't, then that's extra bragging rights. And if you beat Gemini...
Well, Jeff,
and I
now
don't-
and now we go to we're going to worthless slots, right? Cards we think that are worth a slot in your standard deck. Are you gonna start giving us Gemini picks for these two? Like, where does it end? Where does it end, Jeff?
Yeah, I guess I
Where,
could.
when we need to get the computers out of our life. It's too much. It's too much.
I was thinking
man.
maybe we could ask Claude as well for their pack 0 pick ones, and then maybe we can actually change the entire show to just like which AI is best at Magic.
Yeah, if you're interested in that, please tell us in the comments, because I know you're not. Please tell Jeff how bad AI is and how much we hate it.
I don't know. It looks pretty good.
Yeah, that's true. They did beat us. Anyway, Jeff, worthless slots. We got some interesting ones. But I'm going to start with you with the least interesting. Sorry, that sounds so rude. Your first pick is the least exciting to talk about because it's very obvious. But before we get into this, what are worthless slots? Just remind everybody.
Yes, worthless slots are an acknowledgement that the most important resource in Magic, the Gathering arena, are wild cards. That's what you should really be trying to spend efficiently. And so we try to help a little bit. When a new set comes out, we say what cards should you not feel bad about spending wild cards on, which ones, and we trying to rank them. So we have a layup. This is a card that is, if you're interested in it, it's almost certainly good. We have a 3-pointer, which is a little more niche, but still a very powerful card, so you could feel okay spending wild cards on it. Just know it might not have a home. Half court is really just kind of stuff we want to be good, but probably isn't. And then we choose an overrated and underrated card, again, just to help you spend your wild cards as effectively as possible, because that's the real limited resource.
It's very true. Though I guess if the limited resource is gems and gold, but yeah. Anyway.
It's a resource that is limited that you cannot use for limited.
Yes. Jeff, what was your layup? What was your no-brainer?
I chose
Obviously, this card's worth
Deceit. And I stand by this one. That card's good.
it. Yeah, Yeah, it won the Pro Tour. I think it's pretty good.
It's not bad. Not bad.
I do think adding the little claws to layups or cards you would expect to see in Pro Tour decks could be. Yeah, I guess never mind. I was gonna say it could be interesting, but then it lends itself to being like Spell Snare or freaking.
I mean, these for the first three at least, it kind of has to be a rare or above, right? Because we're talking about wild card.
Of course,
wild card use. So.
That's true. You're right. Excuse me. Whoa, that was a lot. Crazy. My layup. I don't know if this really got there, but I want to talk about it.
Not yet.
Kinscare Sentry. However you say that. This is the 2-mana first strike lifelink 2/2.
You just love
that,
you and your
when
2-mana first strikes.
Yeah, that's what it does. And when you attack, you get to play creatures from your hand equal to the CMC is equal to the number of creatures you're attacking with. Hasn't really gotten there. We were thinking that mono white weenie was going to be like making a resurgence. But we kind of got split between like playing Kithkin and white cards, and so the decks that I've been building have not been mono white, first of all, but also just you don't get as many pieces from Lorwyn as you kind of expected, just because a lot of them are Kithkin, and there aren't enough white Kithkin to really make a Kithkin deck that's monocolored. But I do want to say that this Sentry has been pretty powerful in certain situations. I've been playing this deck. It's like mono white splash red, and I'm splashing red. It's built into the mana base that you can play a lot of red pips, but I'm playing Catharsis. So Catharsis is the other elemental, the Boros one that nobody's talking about. It's like 6 mana, but you can evoke it for, white or red, and either you make 2 1/1s, so it's a nice 2-mana play that can't get spell snared. That makes lots of creatures, which is what the deck wants to do, because you want to attack with this and play big stuff from your hand, or 3 drops essentially. But the most important thing is the red ability, because you give your creatures +1/+1 and haste until end of turn. Ooh. So the common play pattern kind of turns into like something on 2. Some sweet creature on 3, but then on turn 4 you get to play Sentry and evoke, give everything haste, attack with a Sentry, play a 3-drop from your hand. That usually feels pretty good. So the turn 4 play with the Sentry and the haste has been really interesting, especially when you add Suki to the mix, which is like a Lord. It gives +1/+0, but when the creatures die in your turn, you get to make more 1/1s, which is all you want to do in this deck. So I have been having fun, and Sentry has been an interesting card that is pretty good. It also holds like the freaking aura that I always forget the name of, but I love it, from Duskmourn, that like O-rings the creature and gives your creature ward and lifelink and +1/+0.
Yeah.
Anyway, it likes
I used to hate that card, man. Now I don't care about it because I never see it, but I used to hate it.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, there's a lot of cool things you can do with Sentry, and it having first strike is really nice when you pump it up and blah, 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 blah. So, a world around it, like, I think we need a little, there's... honestly, what it is that the fast creature decks are green, and they go really fast and big, and these little ones just don't make the cut. Like the cub decks are what you're not faster than the cub deck really, and people are prepared for the cub deck, so you just get hated on because of that. So it's like it just doesn't really have a place in the metagame.
But that's the typical thing of mono white, and I know this isn't exactly mono white, but this is sort of reminiscent of like the old Boros tokens deck, but the payoff now is instead of card advantage with those convoke creatures, it's the Catharsis, which I think is a cool line. The only thing I don't love about it is like putting the catharsis in with the kin scare. Doesn't quite
Doesn't
work
get you
the way
anything.
you want it to. Like you still get a big creature, but it's like it'd be cool if I got 2 1/1s and +1/+1 and haste every.
Yeah, but usually what happens is that you like, if you get to 6 mana, you just play Catharsis, and then you get to play another creature from your hand. That's like a 3-drop or whatever. Which I will say,
Right, but you could have a bunch of 1/1s and not have 6 mana, right? And like put it into play with the kin scare, but you couldn't.
You can,
but you couldn't have
Yeah.
cast it for full value. I mean, like
it's it does not do the same thing. But I will say it is a little funky because I have started playing the Fox again.
classic
Werefox
Zach.
Bodyguard. So Werefox Bodyguard
Zach
was a
cards never
worthless
go
slot.
away.
It was a worthless slot card that I picked for Wilds of Eldraine. It's like a 3-mana 2/2 that O-ring something that has flash speed, and you can sacrifice it if you want. It doesn't work super well with the Sentry just because you have to attack with it if you play it off the Sentry.
Oh yeah, right.
Don't love that part. But every once in a while it does come in clutch where it's like they
Sure.
only have one blocker, it's really big, or,
Oh, yeah, if they
or
only
one
have one,
untapped
they're toast.
untapped blocker, or end step play it, get rid of something, attack, do blah 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 blah.
I can
whatever you
even
wanna
see like if you're attacking with a bunch of stuff that comes in and takes their big blocker, and they feel like they have to block that now instead of like
do to get this thing
all
back.
your other shit. Like it
Also,
could
when you
force
play
through
against-
a bunch of damage.
And if you play against like the green decks, you can get rid of the Ouroboros to reset the counters, or get rid of the biggest thing that has counters on it. Plus, a lot of their stuff is tapped because they tap mana dorks all the time. So like they might not have anything else. Anyway,
In my experience, like trying to reset Ouroboros, it's just a losing battle. It goes so fast.
yeah, I'm just saying it does the thing. But anyway,
But what I was going to say is like mono white is almost never the fastest deck. It's usually pretty fast, but not the fastest deck. What it needs is meaningful disruption. And I think we don't really have anything that I'm excited about in that category. Like there's no Paulo, there's no Thalia, there's no like this card. We're pretty fast,
Bear.
but also I'm slowing you down a lot, like disproportionately to what I'm doing. And it's that delta that makes mono white good. It's like I'm developing my board and building out a presence pretty quickly, but I'm also just like nudging you a little bit. It's like those old school, Thoughtseize mono black decks where it's like Thoughtseize into a bunch of creatures. It's just like I just keep you off balance enough for my dorky beaters to get you. And a card like Kinsker would be great there because you just get that free extra attacker, and that's kind of all you need to push it over the edge. When you're not disrupting your opponent's game plan at all, it's just raw speed. I don't think anything can compete with Badger Mole Cub, right? Which is why everyone needs to play Answers to Badger Mole Cub, because they can't just be faster or better or go over the top of it. You can't. It does insane things very quickly. But its weakness is that you can interact with it fairly easily.
anyway, so
we need
all this,
we need Paulo or something,
I would
Just snatch that Ouroboros right out of their hand.
Okay, you did bring up Paolo. I will say, Strixhaven is around the corner. If we get a reprint of Paolo in Secrets of Strixhaven, that
And
would
it
be
doesn't
really,
look
really
like Paulo.
classic.
The classic move they pull.
Yeah. They're just gonna make it look like Javier, and they just be like, "It's Javier's card now." Anyway, so with the Sentry, I don't know if I really count this as a card that like is totally a layup. If you spent 4 wild cards on this, I did too. So I guess we're even.
I think I'm still a mono white believer. I just think we need an interaction or a disruption piece better than
Yeah.
that stupid 1-drop that basically is like nothing.
Yeah, it's like a Savannah Lions that like just makes their tap land ender tapped.
Yeah,
like
it's just like that's not disruption.
It's kind of helpful when you play like multiple copies every once in a while. I did have an opponent like who kept getting rid of their Snakeskin Veil. It was like they're playing like mono green Landfall, and it was like you're gonna show me Snakeskin Veil and make it cost 2 mana, so it's kind of useless. Okay. And then I kept killing their stuff, and they couldn't cast Snakeskin Veil. And I was just like, okay, this is what a strange. So if you play against players who were in like silver or whatever I was at, then then you're fine.
Also, like I'd be tempted to play Blossoming Defense over Snakeskin Veil, but maybe that's wrong. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it was just an old list. Well, actually, no. I think the counter is really helpful if you want to protect your Tifa, and then they were doing the Tifa.
Oh, if it's Tifa, yeah, I could see that actually.
Yeah. But anyway, so Sentry, I still really like it, but maybe we have to add the caveat to the layups, like I was saying before. A card you would expect to see on the Pro Tour. I do not think anyone played this card in the Pro Tour. So it was, probably the correct answer was 2 of the Elementals, because those are great. All of them are great.
Yeah, they're solid.
I also picked for my 3-pointer another creature for a creature deck, which wasn't good in draft and is also not good in standard. Stir of Wares. This is the 3-mana goblin that like thought seizes your opponent.
Thought seizes your opponent is quite strong. It ravenous rats your opponent.
No, because you get to look at it has a little bit more play than Ravenous Rats. I mean,
in my experience,
in
draft and sealed, it has been Ravenous Rats. But like, a 3/2 Ravenous Rats.
Okay, well, I will say Taster of Ware in draft and 17 lands. It is the second best black rare. So it's right under Gloom Ripper. Right under. There's a big delta, but like Gloom Ripper here, Taster of Ware is right here. Good card.
Good to know. Yeah, I mean, I think it's good, but it has been Ravenous Rats against me most of the time. But in construction, obviously, you're trying to build your deck so that it's better than that.
Exactly. So in that case, you'd have enough goblins almost all the time so that you could take your opponent's cards. The thing I really liked about it is that you get to play it, you get to get rid of your opponent's wrath, blah, 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 which is really helpful. The thing that's really bad about it is that if you don't have any goblins out, yes, it doesn't do very much. And if you're playing against a deck that does answer all your threats, you don't tend to have a lot of goblins out. So maybe not the best card either. Maybe I made some rough ones this time around. I don't know.
I still don't hate Taster of Wares. Like, I was experimenting with goblins a little bit, but more on the sack theme because there's that enchantment that makes 2 goblins and is also the like Blood Artist effect.
But would you even play this at 3 mana?
That's the thing, right? Like in that deck, I wasn't sure I wanted it. Like maybe in the sideboard kind of thing, because your plan is to sack your goblins, right?
Yeah, so you don't want a 3 mana goblin. That's a 3/2. Like
and I didn't have them, and I certainly didn't want to craft it in that deck. So I was just like, I would have tried it if I'd had a couple of copies, but I wasn't going to craft them for that. Of course.
Yeah. So. Again, I'm still in the world of like, I don't know, is it good or not? Where I'm glad that your jury's still out, but I don't think we're going to get a lot more black goblins to feed into this deck. If anything, we're just going to get more red ones, and it will just push out this black goblin to be like, just play mono red goblins if you do it.
Yeah, maybe. There might be like the splash is still worth it kind of thing, but
yeah,
I'm not. I was originally like a believer in the potential of the Goblin Sack deck, and now I'm just like, I don't know. I think Goblins probably just wants to be aggro because so many of the good Goblins are
aggro
what they care about.
Cards. So, but then if you're aggro, do you really want to play multiple colors or splash for this card. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Anyway, pretty rough one. Jeff, what's your 3-pointer?
I picked Meek Attack. I have zero experience with this card. I've never played against it, and I've never played with it. So I don't know. It still seems like a cool card. There is weird combo, like we talked last time. There's weird combos with it. But I haven't actually encountered that.
Yeah, I've seen some of the decks as far as like people playing around with those kinds of combo decks and making sure they have the right stuff. As far as like number of ways to be able to Meek Attack. I saw one that was pretty interesting where they were making it so they had 4 Meek Attacks, obviously, but they were also discovering into the Meek Attacks. So all the other cards that were like, higher mana value, so you always hit Meek Attack when you do the discover stuff. So that it's more consistent, which is one of the things I was kind of worried about the deck, is that like you play this and then you have the A, I need Meek Attack, B, I need a big creature that technically is a 0/0 or whatever, but enters with a ton of counters and then kills them, and making sure I could have more copies of Meek Attack in the deck seems like it could be okay. So I think this is still... I think it has more power than my 3-pointer. The entire deck that is built around it is much more interesting and has more explosive capabilities. Though I do wonder, does this feel almost closer to like a half-court shot, where it's like the entire deck is this one thing?
Yeah. Yeah, maybe. Because my half-court shot was Figure of Fable, and, it's an excellent limited card. I haven't actually seen anyone play this in Constructed.
Yeah, I think it's just that Kithkin are not a thing.
And like we talked about, mono white also not really a thing. So
yes, yeah, which like Figure also in mono white feels just like not as exciting to play.
Sometimes I wonder if the mono green deck could do this. I think they just don't need to, but like they generate so much mana that they could level this thing up pretty fast.
It's true, but then at a certain point they're like, all of our creatures are just huge. Like, do we need an unblockable one? And it's like they can't really block my stuff anyway, or whatever.
Yeah, it might be like win more or whatever. Like you might just have better things to do.
Because all their 1-drops want to make mana, right? And this
exactly right. Like you want Llanowar Elves.
Yeah. My half-court shot was Mirror Form. Once again, another card I have not seen.
No experience with this one.
It's a rough.
But we've been focusing a lot on limited. And I know
that's true. We did have a tournament that we
usually I have more Constructed experience by the time we do this.
That's true. That's true. But we were... Well, this is, again, because the sets end so quickly. Okay, yeah, I'm blaming Ninja Turtles on this, all right? Because if we had more time, we would have been able to try all this stuff, but we just didn't have enough time. We had to prepare for a tournament, and then Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles came out. That's like basically what's going on, which makes me sad.
I'm doing the Sunset show, or like a happy hour show on a format that I fully intend to play, like
this weekend,
tomorrow, or to this weekend, or whenever it starts.
Wild. Overrated card. We both picked Hexing Squelcher. Still overrated.
I've seen this card in limited. I don't know.
Bad. Don't even take it limited. Goblins is bad.
It was like mildly annoying the one time I played against it, where I was just like, my hand is all removal, so like I guess I have to kill that first, or I'm going to take like 8 damage. But I still ended up winning, but because my hand was all removal.
I can't remember if I talked about this last week, but I was playing Pai Gow at the Ultimate Guard booth, and when you're playing Pai Gow, now that there are only 14 cards in all the packs, basically if you haven't heard of Pai Gow, you make 5 piles of cards. Each pile should have 3 cards in it. You have infinite life. Sorry, I say this every time. You have infinite mana and 5 life.
I was like, infinite life. This sounds like a Poorly
It was
designed
pretty
game.
terrible game. You have infinite mana, 5 life, and you just try to win with the 3 cards that you have. However, because play boosters only have 14 cards, that means that one of your piles will only have 2 cards in it, which not everybody plays that way, but I think it's better to have an odd number of piles so that you can have a definitive winner. Anyway, my 2-card pile when I was playing against somebody was Hexing Squelcher, this, and Liminal Hold, just being like, I'm going to play Squelcher, I'm going to eat whatever their thing is, and then maybe I get there, but probably not. My opponent's hand was the 6/5 we were talking about earlier, that impulses, but in this format it's just a big 6/5, and a counterspell. So they had a counterspell. They play their big 6/5. I play Hexing Squelcher. They're like, sure. Then I play Liminal Hold, take their 6/5, and they're like, what the fuck is... So I just lose. So I have backup to win with my 6/5.
I really like what the 2 cards they put together. Like, that
it was really good.
Very reasonable 2-card pile.
He was getting pretty tilted for playing in a very non-committal
Right, it's
Pai-Gow thing.
Like,
Yeah.
it wasn't
I will say
competitive Pai-Gow. This was...
But that player did end. It was really funny. They did laugh at later, like, and they ended up winning. And the prize was you get all the cards we were playing with. They got to keep. So they won the Hexing Squelcher.
They get 2 packs or whatever.
Exactly. But anyway, that's my Hexing Squelcher story. It was pretty funny.
Yeah. Hey,
maybe
it's not overrated after all.
It ended up working out in Pai-Gow somehow, but in like the most bizarre
Pai-Gow bomb.
Because the other thing is that like you just randomly, like I pick my opponent's pile, they pick my pile, so it's like it's just random. So the fact that the one counterspell in all the piles that he had was against my uncounterable creature that makes all my other spells uncounterable is just hilarious.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
do you actually pick or do you just roll? So like,
we pick. So it's like you lay the piles out, and then I just be like, you pick. Like you're playing with the middle one, and they pick.
But can you see how many cards are in the pile?
You can. You try to push them together so they can't see.
Got
but sometimes you can tell.
Was it like, I pick your 2-card pile, so you picked my 2-card pile, so I'm going to pick your 2-card pile to make it fair?
I think in that situation I could tell, so I did pick the 2-card pile.
Yeah.
But the other thing is, like, when you're playing Pai-Gow, sometimes it's like, because the packs always have a land, you have to put the land somewhere. And it's like, do you put it in a really strong pack where you're like, well, I only need 2 of these cards, so the land is the 3rd one? Or do you just make the 2-card pile garbage and be like, I'm going to lose no matter what, so I'm going to give... That's a free win for them. I have to win the other ones, and I know that my cards are good enough to do that. What's your strategy? And a lot of people just dumpster one of their piles and just forfeit that one immediately. But you just never know. You just never know what's going to happen.
Depends on the pack, man, too, I think. What kind of piles am I looking at? Maybe dumpstering is like already going to happen anyways, so I might as well lean into it, you know.
I will say Pai-Gow is really fun because the infinite mana thing, one of the best cards you can get in Pai-Gow in this format. There's so many different things, like amazing rares, all these bombs, really cool stuff. But really, one of the best cards is a common, because you have infinite mana. If you get the what's this card called? Flame Chain Mauler, the 2-mana 2/2 red card that if you pay 1 into red, it gets +1/+0 and menace. You can attack for lethal, and if they only have 1 blocker, they're just dead. And it's just that is fun. So I really like Pai-Gow because really stupid cards that just have activated abilities like this. The Cavalier is also really good in this format.
I was going to say the Cavalier seems awesome. But...
You pump it as many times as you want. There's actually quite a few of those creatures. Like the Shield Bearers are also really good. So it does change things.
I like the Shield Bearer.
Yeah, in general, it's all. We already know it's good. But it's fun because usually when you play limited, cards that say draw a card are good. But in Pai-Gow, they're terrible because you don't have a library, so you don't do anything.
Yeah.
Which is really fun.
Turns things on its head a little bit.
It does. So anyway, just wanted to say that Pygal's lots of fun. You should play. That's what's underrated. I'm going to say Pygal's underrated.
Pyga, there you go.
Yeah, you should play.
I picked Oko as my underrated card. I stand by this. I'm experimenting with this. Exactly what we talked about before, like doing the Sultai thing where you do Oko and the demon. The demon room, and because the Oko turns
Unholy
your
Annex.
creatures
because into whatever.
The Oko turns any creature into all creature types. You don't actually need to play the crappy demons to make that card viable. And I like that. And that interaction has been pretty nice. And you can get it back with your Oko and stuff. And, like, you can find it with your Oko because you mill and return permanents and stuff. So it works.
Right. Oh, that's true.
It's kind of a nice little deck. Still some kinks to work out, but it's been doing pretty well.
Nice. That's cool. My real underrated was Goliath Daydreamer. Just good, cool card. Not for standard, which we're kind of talking about in this segment.
Usually go for limited with your underrated cards. So.
Yeah, just because those are the ones I think about the most.
And this is a good card in limited.
It was busted.
Yeah.
It was like kill on sight, because if they get to untap with it, you're going to lose all your creatures. Like that's just they're going to play like 3 removal spells. It's so brutal. And God forbid it's a couple Balderdashes, and then you're just like just totally hosed. But not like that happened to me a lot. But
I was going to say, it sounds like someone speaking from personal experience.
Always personal experience with this kid. But anyway, Jeff, last thoughts on Lorwyn Eclipsed before we never talk about it again, and we're only talking about Ninja Turtles.
I do not agree to that. We're going to have to talk about how we both qualified for the Mythic Championship, or the Limited Championship.
I was going to the Mythic
on
Championship.
Next episode, yeah. So.
Yeah. That's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
And that might involve talking about Lorwyn.
Oh, we could just be like, whatever, it doesn't matter.
14-0, baby.
That's possible. Oh.
It is theoretically possible.
Yeah. You'd have to go O, right? You could do 14-2 and still win.
But why? Why lose those games? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, to give up nothing. No equity. But yeah, ultimately, I think this set made me think a lot more about the construction of sets like this, the Kindred stuff we talked about earlier. And I think my biggest takeaway is that Wizards continuing to find more interesting places to put certain types of cards and change their blueprint, I think is really good. Because while this was a set that was very focused on creature types and like obviously you're doing all that stuff, the blueprint of sets is always like, if there's a land cycler, it's green and it fixes for any color, or they have a whole 5-color cycle of these ones that only care about their stuff. The fact that they put 2 basic land cyclers in blue and red was really, really interesting. I loved that choice, as well as making it so the color pairs are not always enemy or ally, and only doing that, and always trying to make it like a perfect symmetrical thing. I like that they're changing stuff up. It gets us closer and closer to maybe coming back to ever getting a Torment set, which will not happen because I think that did not go very well the first time, so they'll never go back to it. But
they're experimenting, right? They're moving away from the tried and true allies or enemies, kind of.
Yeah, because sometimes, like, not just the allies and enemies thing, like, obviously, because, like, Strixhaven, the last time we were there, obviously, they have all the, the enemy colored pairs, and those are their houses, or their schools, but being like, okay, is this the Ravnica set with all the allies, or all the enemies, or is it all 10, or whatever, when there's only 3 things you could do is not as fun as like, look at this one. Yeah, playing Boros, you can't really, or it's not as good as these other ones. But that doesn't mean that all the enemy colors are bad. Really interesting. I like that a lot. And I'd like to see more of this, whatever that is. So I think that's a huge win. I think that's a big win.
Yeah. And the sealed was fun. The idea of sort of using changelings in the place that mana fixers usually play, which is like this lets you play your good cards if you have the good changeling.
Yeah.
Was interesting. And I think the fact that some of the best cards in the set were champions, which really do require you to be in that archetype. It's not just like I'm not merfolk, but I'll play the champion, the merfolk champion.
Exactly.
You can't. You can't. The card is terrible if you're not merfolk.
You physically can't. It did feel like old Magic again, where it's like, you're either doing the thing or you're not. It's like, I don't think I have a specific card in mind, but it is the idea of like, new Magic philosophy would have been, this is the elf champion. It's a good card, but if it's with elves, it's an even better card.
Yeah.
As opposed to, this is only a card if you have elves. Otherwise,
right,
it's
like it literally
trash.
rots in your hand if you don't.
Yes, which I think is interesting, and we need more stuff like this that isn't just like, if it enters and you don't have an elf, it draws you a card, but if you do have an elf, it draws you 2. Like that's just not interesting.
Yeah.
Which we have gone through that in recent years. So
Totally. Yeah.
they are realizing this, and
your point is so valid that like I have to remind myself when I'm building my deck that like you can't play this. Like I know it's a great green card and you have a great green white Kithkin deck. You cannot play the champion of the perfect. Like you can't. It's not like it's not going to be optimal in your deck. You can't play it. It doesn't do anything.
Which is funny because the white one is the one that's easiest to remember because it says the word Kithkin on it.
Yeah.
Besides the behold part, but it's like Kithkin.
It's a Kithkin lore, and
+1.
it's like ultra only good in Kithkin.
Exactly. And so then you're not even thinking about it unless you're in Kithkin. But the perfect is like, whenever you play a creature, draw a card. Oh, this is great in every green deck. And then you can just easily forget.
Exactly. Because that card is not explicitly an elf card. It's just that you need to have elves to play it. It's the exact opposite of the cards you were describing before.
Yeah. So very, very cool. So I do like that.
And they put a lot of power in those cards. The Kithkin one aside,
I had higher
Merfolk
hopes for
and the Elf Champion are very good.
Honestly, the Goblin one has been getting me too, where they just like blight your whole
Champion
board
of the
away.
Weird, yeah, it's pretty good too.
Yeah, it's pretty good. And unfortunately, the other ones are not nearly as good. But I had higher hopes for the Kithkin one. I really liked the thing. I don't think I ever mentioned this, but the Kithkin lore, the 4-mana one. Sorry, I know this is supposed to be last thoughts, but I don't care. It's a 4-mana, 3/3 or something, and it has flash. But you can behold when you play it, but you can behold a creature that's on the battlefield. So if one of your Kithkin's getting targeted by something, you can play this to save it and pump your team. Right. Which was a really cool way of using the behold exile thing. Yeah. As opposed to all the other cards were like, you have to keep it under this for a while and it's really powerful. But this one had like the Restoration Angel kind of built into it for Kithkin.
Sure. Yeah.
Which I thought was really cool. It just, ended up being most of the time closer to a combat trick where you're like, I'm just going to flash in my Anthem and screw you. Which
it's still a good card. It's just not quite on the power level of something like Champion of the Shoal, which is single-handedly dominates the game.
It's just your favorite Champion. I've seen you be like,
For
"And
some
then I'm just
reason, it's
splashing
been a
for
big
this."
part of a lot of my experience with this format. I don't know
Yeah.
why. I keep opening it, and it's just like, your two best creatures are no longer a part of this game until you kill this. It's like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, yeah, but I think it's worth it. I don't know. It's hard to
Yeah,
cast.
and maybe it's my favorite
You-
card of the set just because I keep opening
I
it
think
and
it
I keep
is.
splashing it.
You keep telling me like I'm playing Kithkin. Oh, but I'm splashing blue for this card. It's called Champion of the whatever.
Yeah, I don't know if you've heard
the
of
Shoal.
it. Champion of the Shoal.
Yeah.
Yeah. I happen to
it's
have
like-
some incidental white merfolks I want to play anyways, so why not?
It's like, might as well. So funny. Sorry. Anyway, for reals this time. Let's move on. Let's end the episode.
Yeah,
we're
it's
going to
just
the last
so
call.
sad that it's leaving, you know? So it's a
Yeah,
happy hour,
so-
but it's kind of a sad hour.
It is a sad hour. As we move into once again Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Jeff, do you think next week we should have pizza on the podcast for the
Of
TMNT?
course, but blended into a beer.
Just the way I like it. Extra
It's all about
disgusting.
weird pizza, right? A blended beer pizza is weird.
That's true. I guess in magic sense, if it was a weird pizza, it would have to be like a weird, like one of those blue blobby things.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, beer. We rate all of our beer on a scale from bronze to mythic, just like the tiers in Arena. However, this has nothing to do with what tier you are in currently, because everyone is in different tiers at different times, so don't feel bad when we say that bronze beers are trash. They're horrible. You, excuse me, spit them on the ground, you burp them out, and you hate them. They're gross. Blech.
Silver beers are either bad or just kind of boring. Not a lot going on.
Gold beers are fine, but you wouldn't really drink them again, or draft them again.
If platinum is solid, you would totally drink them again.
Diamond beers are exceptional. You like these a lot. You show them off to your friends.
And mythic, these are the best of the best. Zach, I hate to say this, but these are the Ashling's commands of the beer world.
Oh, interesting. Wow. I definitely thought there's so many different things we could go with. But
I know.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. It's the one we just don't really get.
I opted
Pyroclasm
against
is good.
the Geminis of the beer world. But
Okay, that's nice. Thank you. I appreciate that. I thought you were going to say champion of the show, but anyway.
I would if that was like actually the best card in the set. But it's close, but it's not the best.
Yeah. It's your favorite. Super Sunset. Nice. Tasty.
It was good. Yeah.
Delivered what we were kind of hoping for.
Yeah, like a beer like this, just this style, what is promising is never really gonna
Wow.
blow your mind. But it delivered what it promised me, which was like
Yeah.
an easy drinking 4.6% pale ale that had some flavor to it instead of being
Yeah.
like a lot of beers in this ABV category pride
Yeah.
themselves on not having flavor. This one does. And
Yes.
it's pretty good. It was fruity. Which I liked.
Crushable.
Yeah.
If you want to go for wine terms.
And if you see at the start when we poured it, you got that nice head that's stuck around for a little while. That's those oats
Yeah.
they use, man. Every time they use oats, I tell you, that
Yeah.
you get that perfect beer mug look.
Head retention. It's
Yeah.
nice. The only thing I want to say about this is that the can promised a smile on this sun, and there is no smile. I don't know
That's so
what that's about.
weird. Yeah.
Yeah, so bronze. Horrible. Horrible.
Do we have anything below bronze?
It's just trash can. No, Slake has always been good for us. I think the reason I picked this up is because we've liked all the other stuff that they've made. And so I think this kind of just fits in with the rest of them, right? Like
I'm
this,
a little
this
wondering
feels...
why they, if you look there at the on a beer by Slake, why'd they rip off the Anthropic logo there? This is the star
Wait.
with. If you know
Yeah,
what the
this star
Claude
thing?
the Claude logo looks like, it's orange and black with the star. This like
Oh.
sort of hand drawn looking asterisk. It's exactly
did-
it's exactly the like Claude logo. But
Do you think that's saying that Claude made this? Are we drinking AI beer?
Oh, no wonder it's so good.
Oh God, no, this is horrible. Anyway, Super Sunset. I think I'm probably just gonna give it like platinum. It feels great. It's good. I don't know if it's my favorite from Slake, but I think Slake in general might be creeping its way into maybe as a brewery diamond category.
It already got that from me today when I heard we were doing this. I'm like, oh, nice, a Slake beer. Like it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be amazing or anything, but I know it's not going to be bad. Like I know I'm not risking anything tonight.
Exactly, it's like
at the very worst, it's just not my thing and it's gold, you know. But like,
you don't have to worry about.
Yeah,
because we've had some breweries where it's like we're like iffy about it, but then like it kind of surprised us, and then we had some crazy ones that were horrible, and they were like
like super high variance breweries.
But Slake has always been like great,
rock solid. Yeah, it's been like platinum and diamond the whole way through, I think.
You know what? I might even give this diamond as we kind of talk about this.
I think it's kind of on that border for me. I think I was thinking platinum as well, but I enjoyed it.
I'm sitting
here. I would
here
recommend this to people for sure. Yeah. So, and you know what? I think I'm going to give it diamond because it's 4.6%.
I think that's a huge part of it. Yeah,
because it tastes really good. And I feel like I'm comparing it to beers in this category that are usually like 5.5% or 6, like 6, kind of in that range. And so for this to deliver this flavor with 4.6, this is a beer I'm super interested in.
That's true. That is true. And like sitting here right now, I wish I had another one, and I don't, and I'm sad about it. So I think that's also.
All right, we've talked ourselves into this. I'm going to give it diamond.
All right, 2 diamonds. Let's go, baby. Slake. Yeah. Sponsor the show. Anyway, well, I guess sponsor the show. We're only doing Slake beers forever now.
Hey, I wouldn't hate it.
That's true. It'd be pretty tasty.
I would wonder, like, what else can Claude brew, you know?
No. Go ahead. Whatever. Let's get out of here. Let's go to closing time. You can always reach us at Arena Regulars on Instagram and Blue Sky.
You may also find us on Arena itself under the username Arena Regulars Podcast.
If you want to talk to me personally, I am _Zach on Instagram and TikTok, YouTube, and Blue Sky and all those places. But Jeff, where can they find you?
Best place is our Discord channel. It's super fun. Come chat standard. Come chat limited. Come chat, honestly, whatever. We have conversations in there about random stuff all the time. Show off your cool pulls or what cards you're proud of. Whatever. We love it. And one of the coolest things that we mentioned earlier in the show is that we do a Arena Peasant Cube Draft once a month. You don't need any rare or mythic rare wild cards. This is just commons and uncommons. It's a really well curated cube. It feels like you're playing a super powered format, and it's a lot of fun. And if you want to join that, just tell us you want to join in the Discord channel. It's that easy. So come join the Discord channel. The link is in the show notes.
That is right. Also, if you like the show, please leave us a review on podcasts, Apple Podcasts. Follow us on Spotify. Leave us a review there as well. Go to our YouTube channel. Leave us a little comment. It's really helpful to get the podcast out there. But most importantly, we want to hear what you think about the show. This has been the Arena Regulars,
reminding you that the AI doomsayers have been around for a while. They have been telling us. But it is now official. The AI have defeated the Arena Regulars at Pack 0 Pick 1. Humanity has no chance.
God, that's horrible. Yeah. That's horrible. What a downer. All right. Good night. All right. That's fine.